Okay, so what is a typical day like for a manager?
A typical day for a manager, you usually come to work, check sales, check to see if you were up or down in sales wise. You head to the floor, you make sure your floor is ready for the customer, and put any replenishment that we get on the trucks and cleaner departments.
What made you want to become a manager?
Back then, I had a 5-year-old girl, and it was time to get a full-time position. One of my ex managers stepped down, and I tried to give it a shot and see if I got a full-time.
Do you have any advice for someone who may want to become one day?
To become a manager at JCPenney, you have to work hard. You have to prove to the manager that you're worth to be a supervisor. So if you want to become one, you just have to work hard to get up there.
What made you choose JCPenney to be a manager at?
JCPenney is a workplace, a very good place to work. So it had a great work environment. Everybody's like a family. So
Did you start as a manager or were you just an employee at first?
I started as an employee in the children's department.
So what did you do when you were just an employee?
I tried to go above and beyond, so in case there was an opportunity, they would think of me first for a supervisor.
So when they gave you that opportunity, were there other people you were against and you were chosen to be the one?
Yeah, actually, when I filled that application, there was another young lady in the men's department running against me. So it was between me and her.
Are there any internships available for one wanting to do something other than, they don't want to be an employee, but they want to see what goes on here, so maybe they want to be a manager one day?
No, there isn't any at this point.
Do you think there ever will be?
I hope so, but we're not a huge company where internships are a big thing, so who knows? Hopefully they come up with one in the future.
What is it like working with other managers?
Sometimes it's very stressful. Every manager has a different attitude, so trying to work as a team sometimes is it's complicated and hard.
Are there ever fights between you guys?
I would not say fights, more like we don't agree in different things.
Because when I was here for my field report, there was a little bit of tension between Keith and Sue in the home department because Keith seems to like to move things on Sue and she doesn't like it because she's the home manager.
Yes, sometimes he tends to just do what he wants. Lack of communication, I would say that that's our biggest opportunity within the managers. But at the end, we work as a team.
Well, isn't Keith above Sue?
Yes, he is. He's the store assistant manager.
So it's okay if he does that, even though he shouldn't?
Yep, he can do actually anything he wants. We appreciate when he takes the time to give us a heads up of what he's trying to do, but again, it doesn't happen all the time.
It seems like when I was here, he didn't do that. It seems like he just wanted to get all the Christmas stuff out of the bag, and he just did it. And Sue didn't like where I moved it, but then later when I came back, she moved stuff also. Does she have to ask him to do that, or can she just do it?
She can do it. It's her department, so our manager gives us an opportunity to move a product to however we want it to make sure that it sells. Sometimes it seems like we just work twice to move something that it was already in a place.
Since you are the head of the men's and the kids department, does he do that to you too, or is it just the home department?
He used to. He used to come to the kids department and just move everything he wanted, but me and him had a conversation. Our communication is much better than before.
So at first you got really mad at him, and then you had to like talk it out with him and fix everything?
Yep. It takes a lot of time to make him understand your point of view and his point of view.
Okay, so our manager's really out to get associates. Like, do you guys want to get them in trouble, or do you talk to them first before you go to the big boss?
We don't. We want to make sure that they're doing what they have to do. They're not slacking or just chit-chatting with each other. There's sometimes where we have to have one-on-one coaching with them before we go to the manager, just to give them the opportunity of why they were doing what they were doing.
Do you have times where you have to bring associates in, like with each other when they're having problems, to talk with the store manager?
Yes. We recommend to make sure they work it out between them, but we always have to have the manager involved, because sometimes it happens where it's a she said and she said, so you have to have somebody who just as your witness.
How do you fix those problems if it's like a he said, she said? Like, what do you do? Separate them and put them in different departments where they're not by each other?
So usually we don't have to get to that, because once they go to the manager office, they know it's serious and they have to solve their problems.
So then they just stop?
Yep.
How is a meeting like with the store manager? I met her. She's very nice, but how is she with you guys? Because there was a time when I was in here when you guys had a meeting with her and she was kind of not the nicest because she didn't like how sales were going.
It depends on what kind of month we're having. The company is really big on making credit and customer service and sales. So if we are slacking in one of those three areas, then yes, the meeting tends to be a little bit tense, because we all have to come up with plans to make sure we're meeting all those criteria. But if we're having a store of the month, it's usually really nice.
What is the store manager like? Like, can you guys talk to her if there's a problem, or is it more like you guys try to solve it and don't want to go to her about it?
Sometimes it's difficult. We all are intimidated by her, so we try to get our problem solved before we go to her, so we don't make the drama bigger than what it is. But yeah, sometimes she's really laid back.
So what do you guys do on a daily basis? When I did research, a lot of times people were like, managers, all they do is sit on their butt in the back office. But when I was here, you guys seem to be out on the floor more than in the back office. Is that true?
We usually are always on the floor. We're not in the office unless we are taking care of a customer's issues or we're talking to an associate or pulling sales. But every manager is responsible to make sure all the product is on the floor and the floor is ready for the customers.
So if you could do like a definition of what a manager is in 2 words, what would you say?
Lots of responsibility. It takes a lot to be a manager and be what your manager wants you to be. You have to make sure your associates are doing what they have to. You have to make sure the floor is looking up to core standards. In case we get a district visit, you have to make that department the best department in the store. So it's a lot of responsibility.
What makes a decent manager? I did some research on it, and there's a lot of articles about a good manager versus a bad manager. And to be a good manager, you can't really ever slack.
You can't. I think that what makes a great manager, you work next to your associates. You can't ask your associate to perform in a great way if you're not doing it too. So you have to work one-on-one with them. You have to, if you're working in projects, you have to be with them and not just ditch them. So a lot of work ethic.
So like when you're doing a project, are there times where you can tell your associates, hey, do this, will they do it? Or do you have problems with you have to actually help them every step of the way? Or can they figure it out themselves when they have to? If you're busy with a customer problem?
They're usually very good on doing the projects by themselves. They won't come to a supervisor unless they try to work something and there was no way. A lot of our associates are very well knowledge and they can do a project without help.
If you had a chance to leave your management position today, would you?
I don't think so.
Like, there's nothing else you, like, if you could get, like, a second job and be something else also, would you do that?
No, I enjoy working for JCPenney. There's a lot of opportunities.
Do you guys ever, like, promote employees in the store now, or has that changed? Because I know when Keith's position was open, they brought Keith in from a totally different JCPenney's, and they didn't ask anybody to step up in the store. Is that still going on, or would you guys?
It's a little bit different for salary positions. Unfortunately, the company doesn't promote within the store. They have to recruit from another stores. But for hourly positions, they do give the associates an opportunity to see if they're ready to step up.
So, like, if somebody's working part-time, can they move up into a full-time position?
Yes, they can if there's a chance and they have a good work ethic. Yes.
Does it happen often? Because I know there were some going around where a couple people got, like, managing assistants.
That's a new position that the company just decided to create last year. So you never know what's out there. Usually there's not a lot of movement in management, so nobody can be promoted unless the company comes with a new position or a manager leaves.
What is one thing that is important to inform someone of becoming a manager?
Just work hard.
And then for training purposes, was it hard to be trained to be a manager, or was it just like a step up from being an associate?
It's just a step up.
And then you just have to learn some new things?
Yeah, it's a lot of on-hand training. You don't get any special training. You just learn as you go, basically.
And is it hard working with customers? Like, are customers, like, are they always right?
We would love to say yes, but no. There's some customers that try to use 10 times a coupon that is only one-time use. So there are something else.
And then the last question, during like Black Friday, what's it like? Is there a lot of theft? Are there a lot of coupon problems? Are there a lot of just mean customers?
Black Friday is very interesting. There are some customers who try to give their feedback on how we are open on Thanksgiving Day. There's some customers that will be fighting for something really stupid that is not worth fighting for. So it's something that you look up for.
Is it like all day busy, or are there times where, yeah, you can get a break?
Last year we were open on Thanksgiving Day, so from opening to 11 p.m. we were busy. We were slammed. Usually because shoe department is having an amazing deal on their boots. Home department, all those electric items, every customer wants to. It slows down during midnight time and early hours, but then it hits back on Friday.
Is it like a typical, like, how they perceive it on TV where people are camped out outside?
Not so much.
Have you ever seen anybody camped out outside at Penny's?
Yeah. Last year we had like 5 people, but not like Best Buy or any of those stores.